concept of birth control has been a part of women's conquest to control the rate of childbearing. The oldest known recorded method dates back to ancient Egypt around 1850 BC. Personally, educating the parents, teenage boys, and girls would be a good thing, giving them knowledge on the how and why of fertility and the different types of birth control. However, there are some who feel that giving this type of information will allow teenagers to engage in sex and abstinence is the only thing that should be taught in a moral and Christian society. Teenage pregnancy ranks near the top of social issues facing Americans and is being made into a political issue. Some politicians have played up to this issue for votes, even when statistics show an increase in teenage pregnancy. Is it sane to teach a child that choices have consequences? Is a teenager too immature to engage in sex? But if they do, are they still too immature to make the choices to have a baby and give it up for adoption? Would it not be better to prevent an unwanted pregnancy from beginning? What about the emotional consequences of an abortion or adoption later in life? Another factor involving in teen pregnancies is the rate of high school dropouts. We must ask, what kind of life will an unwanted child have? If we were to give sexually active teenagers the contraceptive, the abortion rates would drop and protesters would not likely have anything to protest against. I'm sure there would still be abortion, but the numbers would be very low. There are many people in society that look down on teenage pregnancy, again, for their religious beliefs or small-town bigotry. Teenage pregnancy puts additional stress on government assistance because they are unable to meet the financial obligation of caring for a child. This can add to the majority of the teens living in poverty and of the teen dropout of school. If they finish school, they need strong family support and a support group. This will increase their chances of an advanced education. Many teens are unable to receive birth control even with the parents' consent because the family cannot afford to purchase the costly insurance plan. Even if they can, many insurance companies will not cover contraceptives. I think if a sexually active teenager is mature enough to admit this to their parents, they should be given some type of birth control. Today, the rate of HIV/AIDS is on the increase because teens in schools that teach sex education, they are telling them the safest way to prevent getting sexually transmitted diseases is to practice abstinence or use a condom. Still, you have this group wanting nothing but abstinence talk. On the other hand, parents should stress the consequences of their child's actions. This is why I think parents should be aware of what their teenage child is doing. Talk to them and tell them and try and help them make wise and healthy choices in their sex life. My final opinion, I could never stand in judgment on anyone that chooses to have an abortion, just as I cannot conceive of the idea of giving my baby up for adoption. In conclusion, I think that birth control should be given to teenage girls if they are sexually active. It will decrease the rates of teenage pregnancies, abortions, and high school dropouts in America. So you make the choice and you decide.